Hello, this is Anthony Effinger. I'm back with another episode of Distant Voices here at Willamette Week, and today I'm talking with Jason Rouse. He is an actor, and he was a writer on Livewire. He's a teacher, and he is making the most of quarantine, or so I hear. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
So tell me how your quarantine's going.
It's an okay quarantine. I can't complain. I'm with my wife and our dog, and we moved on April 1st. So a few weeks into the quarantine, we had to move, and we moved into a great new spot. And so we're pretty happy. Obviously, outside of the apartment, everything is dismal and upsetting, but inside, we could be doing a lot worse, I suppose. So it's okay.
So I hear that you actually shot a television commercial from quarantine in your house.
Yeah. Within the last month, shot a national commercial here on my phone, and it's already out. It was I've done quite a few commercials in my life, and this was the strangest, I think, one I've ever done. Certainly.
Tell me, how did it work? Did you get a box in the mail full of equipment?
Essentially, they sent two big crates. One had props, and another larger one had some lighting instruments, and C-stands, and some tape, and some wires and things. And we set up. My camera was the main camera on a tripod, and it ran a line into my laptop, which was open facing me, so I could see it. Where the director was on there, and like 8 voices from the client and the creative, whatever. It was being under surveillance in my apartment for 5 hours, and we shot for 5 hours, and my wife had to be there to crew, and it was not the greatest 5 hours I've ever spent, but it was, at the end of it, there was a pretty decent commercial. It's out. Like, we saw it the other day. It looks pretty good.
And who was it for?
It's for a company called Mercari. It's like like an eBay company. You buy and sell it on your phone. It's it's terrific. It's about buying and selling things in your house. So
did they cast you while you were in quarantine? Did they find you while you were in quarantine?
Yeah, the audition was to film yourself in your house, essentially, as if you were handing things off to other people, and there's no dialogue, so that's all it was. And so that was sort of the part one, so they put you on what's called a veil, and then they asked you a series of questions. Like, you had to submit a video of your entire place. You had to take pictures of virtually every shirt you have. You had to have a spouse or a partner, someone in quarantine with you that could be there to assist you. And you had to have like 2 newer iPhones and 2 laptops. So they asked, they asked what they needed. They asked for a lot. And it was, I don't know. I got a little testy during my 5 hours. I wasn't always the most pleasant.
Because the director was asking you to do a lot of things you mightn't otherwise do.
No, the director just kept telling me to have a good time with it. Okay. I'll have a good time with it. It was fine. He was fine. He was in Los Angeles. I mean, he was calling in from LA. There are people all over the place. It's the way it is now. And it's amazing to look at the commercial finished. And there were nine actors. If you figure like the Brady Bunch sort of layout, there were 9 different actors they had to shoot and put together, and it looks seamless. So my hat's off to them. I don't know that they want to rush back necessarily and do that again, but they did it. So, and they turned it around. I mean, this all happened in 3 weeks to be cast, to shoot it, and then it was out. So 3-4 weeks.
I gotta say, that's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. You could hear the stress in some of the voices. And I shot like the third of 4 days shooting. And so they've been spending really long days. And if my little section was anything, and they said that mine went pretty well. And I was like, oh my God, if that's going pretty well, you guys must be in the weeds on some of them. But they pulled it out, and the pieces look seamless.
So was this before or after you had what you think is COVID-19?
Oh, this is much after, much. Yeah, I had that in early March. I had a high fever for 10 days, and I had an awful headache, a headache like I've never had before, and I was lethargic. It felt like mono. I had mono when I was a kid, and this is I mean, it was exactly that. And so, I mean, I had a fever. I went to 104 a couple times, and it was just, I was miserable. And then it just sort of went away. But I never had a cough. And so I just sort of like, well, if that was it, that was it. I was, I was in the house for 3 weeks, and then my brother tested positive for COVID-19 with the identical symptoms I had.
Now, where was your brother? Where was your brother?
My brother's in the Navy. He's stationed aboard the USS Roosevelt, and they put in at Guam, and he spent 40 days in a gym, being quarantined, and is now out and is somewhere else. So he's moved through it, thankfully. But we had matching symptoms, which was. I just thought, well, there it was. I mean, you hear that people are who get it have, everyone's symptoms can shift a little bit, but it sort of gave me I felt like, okay, well, I had it, and thank goodness that I had it, and it wasn't as bad as some people are getting.
What's your plan going forward for the next, I don't know, for the summer?
For the summer, well, I work for a place called Fame Academy. It's an arts and performance organization for adults who experience developmental disabilities, and we're finishing up our spring term, which happened online through Zoom, and we're about to start the summer session. And this summer session is a little different. There are a few more classes than I think are generally offered, and about half of them are producing will culminate in 3 videos at the end of the summer. Because we can't have a summer concert or a summer performance of any kind, the idea was to create these 3 sort of videos, and one of them is going to be a dance and rhythmic drumming video, one is going to be a mega choir, and one is going to be an animated video with the text from our poetry class. We'll write essentially the script. It will be animated by this line drawing animation class. Our musical department will score it, and I'm going to direct the voice actors, and I'm gonna edit all of the pieces, and so I'm gonna work on that. And
I'm gonna make a plug here. I'm a big fan of Fame. I go to the fundraiser every year. It's an amazing organization, PHAME. If you don't know it, it is doing amazing work.
Yeah, it's the best. It's maybe the best job I've ever had.
You're getting outside.
I take walks about every day, weather permitting, and I think we make a grocery store attempt every 2 weeks.
Attempt?
I mean, we go out. I mean, it's usually my wife will go in and do it, and then I wait in the car. I do go to Costco for us, and I'll do that every few weeks, and that's been okay. But
wait, did you draw the short straw or the long straw there?
I think I just did it the first time, and I don't get to go out ever, so I really like it. So I'm like, I will go. And I did it the last time I went. I did it in and out in 23 minutes. So I got it down. It's not a big deal. 23 minutes, that's nothing. And it took longer to drive there.
You could put that on Strava you'd probably get the king of the hill, king of the mountain at Costco.
I know how to do it. I was really impressed. I walked out and I was like, holy shit, this is 23. I was very happy that day. So yeah, I'm getting out a little bit. It's not much. I enjoy my daily walks. It's great. It's still, I'm in the house an awful lot, but other than that, it's okay. I'm in the house an awful lot.
I think
I'm wearing shoes. I'm wearing shoes right now. I put on shoes during office hours, just so I feel like I've done something. I'm like, well, going to work. I put on shoes.